this transmission. I want to welcome you and all to Trends in the Housing Market. I don't know, episode 213 or 217 or whatever episode we're on. Thank you for joining us to another very special edition of Trends in the Housing Market. It is 5 minutes to, so I want to start a little bit earlier today. Want to kind of, get things off to a good start, and hopefully we can get some good traction on tonight's show. And yeah, before we start, let's do a quick channel plug, guys. Let me just adjust this here. Wow, we already got 20 people watching this. All right. So we got the comments already rolling. We're not even been live for a minute. All right, guys, let's do a quick Mike in the Night. Let's do an article scan here real quick. Thank you for joining us tonight, broadcasting from South Beach, Florida. All right, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and watch any of the back. Oh, the Political Carnival Sideshow was really good last Mike in the Night. Didn't get too many views, but if you guys want to pick up the show and see what we're talking about last week, please go ahead and do that. We got also Trends in the Housing Market. Last week's show did okay. If you guys don't mind checking into some of the older shows here and what's happening here in the markets, please do so. And a couple of business talk. Housing, I did a video here. Housing ripoff, massive housing ripoff, or is it major opportunity? So obviously, we were looking at this laneway, alleyway home. Here it is right here. Hold on a second. There's a laneway, alleyway home that sold for $1.85 million. There it is right there. It's a little home that's like a little shed in the backyard. And that's sold, and then I was comparing it for a couple of $100,000 less than that home. You could buy this gigantic mansion in a very good area in Houston, outside of Houston, in a major metropolis. $200,000 less. You could buy that mansion with multiple pools and tennis courts, or you could get that. Or no, sorry, this is not the inside of that. That's the house in Vancouver. Then I switch over back to the other house there. And there's the inside of the other house. So I'm not sure what people are paying for in Canada. I've been trying to ring this alarm for years here in Canada. You're getting robbed. Whoa, it costs so much money to build a house. So you're telling me, okay, to build this house in Canada would cost, let me find the thing here, $700,000 to build this house. Not that house. That house will cost $40 million to build in Canada. Let me see if I can find it here. This house here. So you're trying to tell me that this house here, to build in Canada, this laneway house, is going to cost more money than building this house? Apparently so. Apparently that's the case. And it's like, yeah. So, just sold my place 5 minutes ago. Asking price, says the Raven. Congrats, Raven! Raven in the house. I hope he's doing okay. Just sold his house. Congratulations, buddy. Move into this, Raven. You could buy this for the money you got for your house. You could buy this house right now. So, anyways, guys, don't forget to Teespring if you guys want to buy something and support me. And if you guys want to go ahead and follow me on Facebook, go ahead and follow me on Facebook. I'd appreciate that very much. Let me give you my Facebook here if you guys want to follow me. Please don't send me any porn. And here's my Instagram if you guys want to follow me and send me show tips on Instagram. It's so much easier, man. So much easier. Don't forget to check out this video I did yesterday, Housing Apocalypse. What a great video, man. What a great video. Okay, guys, let's get down to the show. Trends in the Housing Market is here. And what the heck was that? That was loud. Sorry, guys. I was trying to testing here our loser buzzer for today. You see gold going higher? Yeah, I know. I shorted gold twice, and I bought a new gold. I think it was early this morning before the markets open. I picked up some new gold too. And I'm going to sell it off. I think by next Wednesday it should be good to sell off and re-short it again. New gold is making me some gold. Okay, guys, let's get on to some big stories here. What time is it? Is it 7 o'clock yet? Yes, it's past 7 o'clock. Welcome to Trends in the Housing Market, guys. So let's get to some meat and potatoes here and what's happening in the market. So here it is. Greater Vancouver new home inventory jumps 40%, but only 31 units sell. Woo! So what does that mean, guys? I'll tell you what that means. That means 40% of inventory goes on the market. So instead of selling 1,800 units, they sell 31. So let's watch the graph. I haven't seen the graph yet. Here comes. Oh, let's read it. Let's go to the graph. Oh, they didn't have a double graph. Okay, so here we go. Greater Vancouver new home pre-sale absorption. There's the absorption and pre-sale estate listings. So here are the listings right here. New inventory 221. So this is the new inventory that's going on the market. Look, in 2018, everything was going nuts when the foreign buyer's tax and all that crap was going on. Everyone, so this is new pre-sale real estate listings. So the drop in sales have some developers pausing or delaying inventory. Only 221 units launched in July, down 14.7% from the month before. Last year was even slower, though. So this number is actually 40.8% increase, despite the increase of 66.5% decline from the number of units anticipated for launch last March. So let's see what happens in the next quarter. It's going to be the final quarter. It's going to be the cliff that we've been talking about for a while now. Toronto new home sales drop over 40%, but the 905 demand surges higher. I know a lot of people, they're moving to Oakville, Ontario. Oakville. Oh, guys. So we got Clumpy in the house. Clumpy saying, I love you, Mike. Please notice me. Don't worry, Clumpy. I see you there. We got Kim Lee. You heard about rich Chinese going to Cyprus for citizenship? Yes, they've been doing that for a long time. Yeah, it's $2.5 million for citizenship. So Big Rob New Zealand said his ears hurt. We got Gary Medeiros in the house. I think $2.5 million per citizenship. That's correct. Donaire in the house. Mike, markets are very hot in Halifax. 1% vacancy rate. Yes, Halifax, Newfoundland, all those places. Prince Edward Island. Big time. A lot of people are leaving Ontario. Nobody wants to live in these big cities anymore, and it's just not worth the upkeep. RBC, Canadian immigration recovery unlikely near term, may impact real estate. Again, if Canada cannot get the rich investors in, it's game over. The Canadians can't afford. Do you remember 6 months ago, I read that article where the whole Australian real estate market is in huge problems because they can't get foreign investors in anymore, because people in Australia don't buy homes anymore for some reason. So the people living there can't afford to buy, but they just kind of sideline them and put them aside. Australian proper? No. Homes in Australia aren't from Australian people. They're for foreign investors. Steve Hall is putting up a good point here. Foresight says build food production now. Yep. So we got Cy Sharp sending love from Melbourne, Australia. So Clumpy saying you make great videos, very entertaining stuff. I'm a big fan. We got Ralphie saying lots of empty commercial properties in Auckland, New Zealand too. Woo! Okay. Bank of Canada's mortgage buying is a quarter the size of new mortgage credits. Oh my God. Wow. That is a big deal. They're flooding the market with cheap money, and it has been very effective. Considering the scale of purchase, Bank of Canada BOC data shows a big mortgage bond beyond spree since the beginning of the pandemic. So the dollar value of the bond buying was known. There it is, guys. Vancouver condo sellers are listing at the fastest pace in over half a decade. Oh, don't be silly. Where are they going to get the buyers from? If they can't get in, they need to get in more foreign money. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Western United States, New York. You need foreign money to keep your cities going, to sustain this huge Ponzi scheme. All right. Now, I wanted to bring this up because this was emailed to me twice. Guys, I know we brought this up. City of Vancouver now defines $3,702 rent as affordable housing. So, yeah, that's affordable housing, guys. Okay? Don't you ever forget what affordable housing is. It's $3,702 a month. When the average person takes home like $3,000. Take home $3,000. So somebody asked me, Mike, do a bit of digging. What's going on? Well, this is what's happening. Let me tell you, this is happening in Australia and in Canada. Why we're having such a ruckus in the housing market and why we're having such a ruckus in our elections. This is basically the root of the problem of what's been happening in Canada and something we're not kind of taking into consideration, right? Douglas Todd, visible minority now meaningless in Metro Vancouver and Toronto. So visible minorities do not exist no longer in the bigger cities in Canada. Now, let me go down here. So if you're living in big cities, in the two, now it's the 3 big cities, now it's 5 big cities in Canada, white people are now the visible minorities. They are no longer the big. Now, let me show you why I want to bring this in. There's something important. Why? So these are why Toronto and Vancouver is basically getting hit the hardest. Now Montreal's getting chewed up hard. The census shows that almost 2 out of 3 immigrants to Canada moved to Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal, even while there has been a modest shift in the past 5 years to the prairies. In Metro Vancouver and other cities, the dramatic rise of both foreign-born residents and the expansion of various ethnic groups has had a political implications. And this is coming from the Vancouver Sun. This is something that, happened in Canada. Now, the Canadians are no longer so looking at me, people look at me, they're like, oh, this is a minority. This guy is like the small population now. And that is very true. And all across Canada, foreign-born population hit 22% in 2016. That's the highest proportion of foreign-born residents in Canada since 1921, when most immigrants came from Europe. Now, 62% of immigrants hail from Asia. Now, here's the deal with that. Canada closed immigration to Europe in 1993. And then 1995, they completely clamped it down. So when people say, oh, you got Canadians keep voting in these communist parties to come in and take your rights away, well, there's not enough people to vote in a conservative party, in my opinion, anymore in Canada. I'm not trying to be negative about it. I am a conservative. I go to church. I'm Catholic. I raise my kids conservatively. But there's just not enough. I think we're running out of people to keep Canada as conservative as possible, right? Okay, let's go here. Save real estate, long game. Central banks taking over. Your local bank is done. Stephen Hall is asking how that is possible. Maybe rich Americans flee the violence to Canada. No, it's not rich Americans fleeing. Take home $3K. Did you mean $3K before tax? Yeah, that's net. So you got to make $5K gross. Donaire, they have guns. They won't flee. That's true. That's very true. We got Moby in the house. Moby in the house. I'm not leaving America. Nowhere to go. That's right. Lots of empty commercial properties. Crypto coming controller. Conservatives have never reduced immigration. If you are right, Mike, they made their own bed. Well, it's true. Lost Canuck is in the house. So, guys, if you want to get to the nitty-gritty of it or understand what's happening in Australia and Canada, and they mention here, so, guys, this is an old article. This is from 2017. Visible minority is now meaningless. So, if basically the whites are now the visible minority, right? And it's actually very visible now in a lot of cities in Canada. So here it is. 44% led by people from China and India. Fastest growing cohort of foreign-born residents in Canada, meanwhile, is made up of international students, of temporary foreign workers, who now comprise 77,000 of Metro Vancouver's population of 2.4 million, according to census. That's just Chinese students, 77,000. So you guys need to see like so this is what's happening. Canada is going through this major shift, and this is affecting our housing, our elections. The whole country is completely on its head. Same thing with Australia. Australia is in this. They mention Australia here too. It mentions Australia in here. It mentions it here. So this is, if you want to get to the root of the problem, it mentions us. I remember seeing, right here. However, regional differences and crucial to understanding the story of immigration in Canada, which, along with Australia, takes the world's highest per capita rate of newcomers. So what happened was it got too expensive for the local Canadians living here to have children and expand and, buy into the housing market and stuff, and it just got too damn expensive. And now this is changing the country's face, or the country in a way where I don't know what's going to happen. I think, like they said, it's impairing politics. Okay. United Nations need to dismantle this. Are people deciding how bulging immigrants into Australia? Then we got the Lost Canuck in the house. Okay, we got Volstagem in the house. Sudações do Brasil. Mike é seu antigo cliente quando você tinha tua loja no shopping. Olá, amigo, boa tarde. So somebody from Brazil is messaging me there in Portuguese, saying they were my client in my old store when I was in the mall. So, yeah, because countries like Canada, I know Italy, Australia, there's a lot of countries where the death rate's higher than the birth rate. So what countries need to do, what they want to do is they want to compete for rich immigrants. Well, like, rich immigrants are a win-win situation for these countries where they bring in money, they buy a house, they already bring their money, you don't have to put them on the system, and they come in and spend tons of cash, and the people living there get bought out, and then they just have to be, like, over time die off, and that's it. That's how countries start to change, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I was telling you guys the other day, that English will lose its value in a lot of these Western countries where, like, no. English, no. Chinese will be, like, give it another 10 years. Chinese would be the second language in Canada, and give it 25 years, it'll be the first language in Canada. I'm not saying this out of, like, to upset people. It's just the way it's going. You know what I'm saying? Empty apartments in Manhattan reach record high, topping 13,000. The number of apartments for rent or listing inventory more than doubled over the last year and set a record for 14 years since the data started being collected, according from a report from Douglas Elliman and Miller Samuel. So here it is, guys. Massive empty apartments. So New York is lagging, because this already happened in Seattle, this already happened in San Francisco, this already happened in Oregon, this already happened in a lot of states and a lot of cities already in America. It's happened all over Canada, all over Australia and New Zealand. Now America's starting to feel the pinch. But America, you got like 20 major cities in New York. If you don't want to live in Manhattan, move to Albany. You don't like Albany, move to Rochester. You don't like Rochester, move to Syracuse. You don't like Syracuse, move to Buffalo. There's so many places you could live in New York. Unfortunately, Canada, there's not much choice out there, especially if you need a job to work, because you're not bringing in suitcases of money. No, it's not. Axel Rose is saying French government is spending billions funding schools in Africa. French is the fastest growing language in the world right now. No, it's not. I think it's ranked number 28 or 30th in the world. Right now, the only European nations that have been spending in education and not forcing language down people's throats is Angola, Mozambique, and Guinea-Bissau. They just built Escola de Santa Maria e Universidade de Lisboa in Angola recently, and the School of St. Mary's School, What a beautiful infrastructural, beautiful school. And it was built by the Angolan government with the Portuguese. And it's just a beautiful school. You know what I'm saying? And no, it's not that the French they're doing this now. They should have done this in the 1900s when they came to rape Africa. The French should have done that long time ago to embed a language, but they were late. Portuguese were in Africa in the 1500s. The French were in the 1890s, 1900s. Daniel O'Brien says federal troops heading for Wisconsin. Yep, I heard that. Lost Canuck. It also with the great work of ice. What are people doing about it, Captain Jack? Buffalo is a poop hole, says Steve Stevens. Mike Martin's fastest growing. I don't believe it still. Nobody speaks French. It's like in the top 20, 25 languages. Toronto has changed a lot. I grew up in it. It's totally different. Yes, it is. Africa is the fastest growing population. France is building infrastructure. I think France should take care of its own people with its yellow vest movements in their country and stop trying to build infrastructure in Africa. They're like 500 years behind other European powers. They're not going to make it work. It won't work now. They're doing it because population is growing. No, the biggest population growth right now is in South America. And the official language in South America is Portuguese, with Brazil, 208 million. I got my friend watching here from Brazil. He could tell you. All right, let's keep going here. All right. Empty apartments in Manhattan. COVID eviction bans and advocates worry homelessness will rise. Definitely, you're going to see a huge rise in homelessness. With some of these temporary bans already lifted and others to follow soon, a poll released on Wednesday suggests 16% of Canadians are worried to some degree about paying their housing costs in August. 1 in 4 renters specifically are worried about making rent. 1 in 4 have already missed a rent payment. That is huge. And you're going to see a lot of people hitting the streets. And I hope people are prepared. And I hope people, crime is going to go up. A lot of things... Crime is a big deal. Crime is going to be a big deal, and crime is going to get out of control. So be careful, guys. Colorado evictions pick up, but the long-feared tsunami still hasn't hit yet. So the state accepting filings for more than 1,200 removals throughout July, nearly 300 more than the first week of August. The sharp acceleration the earlier months in the pandemic, which courts were all but frozen. Still, it's far from short state's typical evictions activity, and it indicates that relatively few landlords move towards immediate eviction as initial protections expired. Okay, we got Axl Rose again. French is the second most common second language. I think there's like 1 million people in Canada that speak French, and it's different from France. Oh, guys, stop it. They don't even speak French in Africa. The people that speak French speak Creole. In Haiti, they speak Creole. The French were in their colonies for less than 100 years. The French got a piece of South America. They couldn't even build a prison. It got overgrown. Give me a break, guys. Holy, in the comments, man. What's the politics with language? Holy crap. Chinese have taken over a lot of Jamaica too. Yes, they have. They've built a lot of the highways. They built a lot of the supermarkets. They built a lot of everything. And the Chinese are only hiring their own workers in Jamaican supermarkets, Jamaican shopping centers, Jamaican everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? They are taking over. They are taking over Jamaica right now as we speak. Astounding recovery, Auckland house sales since COVID. There we go. So here it is. More houses sold in Auckland during the first 7 months than in the same last year, despite the COVID lockdown and its effects on the economy. So New Zealand property market defies expectation. July sales.
Road is
whoa.
Basically a boundary.
Where's this talking coming from?
Waikato and Auckland.
Okay, so there it is. That's what they're doing, guys. So housing property markets defy expectations. Again, when you're part of a country, so pensions will ask for bailouts. That's correct. Axel saying, what 10 million Canadians speak French? I think I met one person that speaks French here in Canada. Not on the show. I met people on the show, but I mean in person here. Mike just made that Portuguese lost colonial wars. No, they didn't lose no colonial wars. Steve Stevens says, why would the government be in a hurry to open back up? They're getting paid to do nothing right now. Not that they are worked an honest day's work before. Someone saying that he has the ankle bracelet. Ralphie saying the following background is better source still through the New Zealand Herald. Okay, so there you go, guys. New Zealand is there. Melbourne prices fall by 15%. So there it is. This is the Financial Review. This is what, from today. This is from the future. It's from today's date. Melbourne house prices forecasted to fall by 15%, while Sydney prices could drop 13% from peak before the bottoming out in the second half of 2021. The pandemic-related shutdowns weigh on confidence, ANZ Bank says. At the national level, the bank has maintained its forecast for prices to fall by 10% from peak through, but it now tips smaller house prices drops in Hobart, Brisbane, and Adelaide, Perth, and Canberra. So there it is, guys. Darwin house prices set to fall by 9%, Hobart 8%, at Brisbane by 6%. So they're seeing a massive retraction in housing prices across Australia. Whew. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Mansion, Global Daily, luxury leads the way in the UK. Settle housing market ranked the healthiest in the US and more. Mansions Global, so there it is. Mansions Global Daily. Luxury leads the way in the UK. Seattle housing market ranked healthiest in the US and more. Why is the Seattle housing market doing so well, and the UK housing market doing so well, but everywhere is just not doing so well across America? Well, here it goes. Foreign buyers overlooking Vancouver and heading to Seattle in frantic pace. Foreign buyers overlooking Vancouver and heading to Seattle in a frantic pace. And that was from 2017. I did this on. This is a video for my channel. Portland's, and so is even Tacoma, right on the border. Believe it or not, Tacoma to me is like Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Buffalo. I'm going to read this article. Chief economist says that foreign buyers tax will be likely to. So the foreign buyers tax in Vancouver basically made this happen in Seattle. Mansion Global Daily. Luxury leads the way in the UK. Seattle housing market ranked the healthiest in America. Housing market in Seattle is going to always rank healthy because they're bringing in more and more outside money. Woo! All right, let's move on. Seattle area home prices rise faster than nearly every other U.S. city, driven in part by younger home buyers. I don't know where these younger home buyers are. They're not tech workers because they barely could afford to eat in Seattle, so I'm not sure. For the fifth month in a row, prices around Seattle rose faster in June, 6.5% year over year than any other nation's top 18 metro areas. Again, foreign buyers overlooking Vancouver heading to Seattle in frantic pace. That's the answer right there. But they want to blame the tech workers. There's like 11 of them living in a one-bedroom apartment. They want to blame the tech workers. Bill Gates lives near Seattle, says Margie Hayes. Jem Rose, laundered money must be removed from the process to make one monetary system legitimate again. Jem, come on, man, get realistic here. Why would they take that golden opportunity to sell out their own citizens? Come on, this is a great opportunity to bring in a bunch of voters that will vote for you in upcoming elections and keep the economy propped up. So I don't know what Axl Rose has to do, has this big hard-on the Portuguese. Portugal only has 10 million people. You can't compete their social programs to one in countries with 30 or 330 million. Okay, I'm going to make this really clear right now. The official language, I actually volunteered for Census You Counted. I speak Spanish and I speak Portuguese. I would call offices on a regular basis to find out their numbers and for languages spoken at home. And I did it for 2 years, volunteering. And the official language in Brazil is Portuguese. 208 million people speak Portuguese. It's the official language in South America. The official language in Central America is Spanish. And the official language in North America is English. Mind you, 91 million people in America speak Spanish. So, like, I don't know what to say, like, I don't know what Axl is... So I don't know why Axl is so pushing this. I don't understand. Like, and the most organized language in Africa is actually Portuguese with Angola and Mozambique. They speak perfect Portuguese there. Perfect. When I went to Mozambique, it's like I'm talking to like family members. Like the Portuguese slow and perfect. But I don't understand why people have this hard-on for languages. And like I speak Spanish. Yo hablo pinche español. Si necesita me puedo ir donde yo quiero en America Latina y no hay problema con nadie. I go to Miami, SA, and I could go there and just tell everyone I'm Latino. I'm Latino, SA. I'm Ricky Martin from Costa Rica. Yo hablo español, no hay problema. That's it. Done. I can speak to 400 million people if I speak Spanish. I can speak to 308 million people. 308 million people if I speak Portuguese. Don't go to Wikipedia. Don't even waste your time going off that. So stop with the language politics here. I could go to every country in the Americas except French Guiana, Haiti, and Quebec. All right, good. We're back on track here. All right, so there's your problem right there. Foreign buyers overlooking Vancouver and heading to Seattle at a frantic pace. And you know who did that? It was the real estate agents in Vancouver. When they put the foreign buyers tax on, they went down. The real estate agents went down to Seattle and say, I got these guys. They're going to buy 300 properties, but they're never coming to America. They're just going to leave them all empty. Woo! That's how it works. I'm going to buy 400 apartments in Seattle, and I'm going to leave them empty. Where's America again? I don't know. Who cares? Just buy 400 homes there. Okay. Here, guys, I got some bad news. This was sent to me from people from the University of Oregon. Sent me this morning. Asked if I could read it on trends in the housing market. University of Oregon will charge students a full year of dorm housing if they can't enter the classroom. So they're still going to charge them rent even though they can't go study. Hold on. Where is that? Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy. Price is Right. Oh, yeah. There we go. So University of Oregon will charge students for a full year of dorm housing even if they can't enter the classroom. Chris Parks 1 says, head over to Quebec, Mike. I'll take you to an awesome spot. Poutine with Portuguese chicken on it. So good. I know the Portuguese rotisserie chicken is really good. Ralphie says, buying property and leaving it empty is an asset parking trick. It's another way to park, wash, launder money. That's the housing Ponzi scheme. Yeah, it's called shadow flipping. People buy 10 of these properties, then they sell them to other corporations and all this cool stuff. It's amazing. All right, let's move on. Thriving housing market. Summer is in full swing in the high desert. With high temperatures and even hotter housing market as July real estate numbers set records, according to the Beacon report. In a bend of residential single-family jumped to a high of 529,000. Where the hell is this? Oh, it's Oregon. Oregon. You guys remember when you came on the show when you guys remember a year ago when Oregon housing prices were tipping and they were at 401,000 and everyone was mass exodusing Oregon to go to Salt Lake City, Utah, Nevada, and Arizona? Do you remember that, guys? Well, here it is. Now they're at 460. They used to be at 403, 404,000 and they were tipping. They could no longer afford to live. Now they're at 460. Woo! I love it. So right now, this is from the Trust for London Tracking Poverty and Inequality. This was sent to me last week. 25% of Londoners are officially in poverty. A majority of them are retirees. And due to the population growth and the number of poverty remains unchanged at 2.3 million, and the rest of England, the figures is 21% of the cost of housing is the main factor explaining London's high poverty rate. So a majority of London is unreachable by locals. Locals cannot get into their own London market. Axel Rose has a really good question, and it's not about languages. He says, Mike, do you think Texas will become overpriced with all the migration there? It will take a long time, though. It will, but it won't be till 2030 you'll see the prices really go up in Texas. Because you got to remember, guys, Texas is like its own country. Texas has more major cities than Australia and Canada do put together. So it's going to take a while. They need to bring in a lot of Chinese people to do that. A lot of Chinese immigration needs to come into Texas to make that shift. Okay, so I covered this yesterday in a small clip. $334,000 wiped from home values. Extreme but plausible prediction. So in Australia, people in the States are, wait, $334,000 wiped from home values? Don't worry! You see that house there with no pool? $2.4 million in Australia. So $334,000 is maybe 10% off the top. Don't worry about it. You guys remember that video I did today? That shack that sold for I don't know how many $100,000. All right. Auto defaults rise for first time nearly a year. This is very important. This is from Subprime Auto Financial News. Auto defaults rise for the first time in nearly a year. So more people are defaulting on their auto payments and, yeah. Lowell Road Scratches says Portland, Oregon property values went down to riots in the USA. Hollywood says Texas is in trouble. Red Pill Millennial says, I'm done with the big cities in Canada. I'd much rather live in a small town in Northern Ontario. There's a lot of small towns. If you stay on Yonge Street and you take Yonge Street all the way to the Manitoba border, you'll find a whole bunch of small towns, riddled with small towns. Population 8,000, population 3,000, population 10,000, population 4,000. The problem is, once you go north of Barrie, Ontario, it just gets too cold. It's cold 8 months, 9 months of the year. It's just too cold. Red Pill Millennial, I'm done. Okay, then Hollywood says, Linda Hance, we're in so much economic trouble. Chris Park says, regarding Texas, Arizona, for instance, is already climbing like crazy. Yes, Arizona is. We had a guest on last week from Arizona that was telling me that he's got to leave there because it's turning into something else. Because a lot of Californians were pushed out of housing affordability in California, and they were moved to Arizona. But they want to bring their political stuff there, and the politicalness is going to help Arizona. They're going to make Arizona into a great place, just like they did California, and they're going to ruin it across the America. Sold my duplex tonight, Mike. Yeah, the Ravens sold his duplex. Sold it for $421 large. Oh, yeah. Yep. But he got that much for it because there was quite a bit of involvement in the designing and the architecture of the house. There was a couple of major, very important, prominent people that was involved in the designing of the Ravens house, Had to be perfect. And that's why he got a perfect price. Linda saying, I own nothing but a good family. That's what's important. Just watching the mayhem. Yep. Sit back, enjoy the party. I'm sure they'll stop at 25 out of 50 states ruined at some point. The morons need to put down the pointy pencils. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Millions of Americans skip payments as tidal wave of defaults and eviction looms. Americans are skipping payments on mortgages, auto loans, and other bills. Normally, that could mean massive foreclosures, evictions, cars, repossessions, and people's credits getting destroyed. But much of that has been put on pause. The help from Congress, leniency from lenders have kept impeding financial disaster at bay for millions of people, but that may not last for long. The problem is that these efforts aim to create a financial bridge to the future for people who've lost their income in the pandemic, but the bridge is only half built. For one thing, the help is still isn't reaching many people who need it. So this is terrible because it's times like this where I wish that Obama took a third term or something illegally, or Hillary Clinton won the election. Because if that was the case, there wouldn't be so many Americans in trouble right now. Because if Hillary was the president of the United States right now, they would have nibbed this COVID at the border. They would have rid COVID in 24 hours. They would have found a cure in 24 hours. And Hillary would be up for a Nobel Peace Prize if she was president. But because it's an election year and the media wants Donald Trump out, they're going to have to punish a lot of Americans and divide the country into race riots and all this other garbage. And creating problem and division where it's not there. And that's dangerous. And that's what's happening in America right now. And it's affecting the rest of the world. And this is what's happening. Elizabeth saying, hi everyone, here in Mississauga, people becoming more and more rude. Even going for a simple walk, people freaking out of one doesn't have a mask. Yeah. Elizabeth is saying, she's saying, I'm running into conflicts with people. Well, that's why I left the big city. It's just like there's no positiveness coming from anyone. Everyone just hates you. It's like, oh, well, I'm sorry for being in your city. I'm going to get the hell out of here. And 1 in 20 homeowners have missed a mortgage payment due to COVID. So there it is. That's mortgage payments. That's not renters. So you got homeowners that are missing payments. And then you're going to have homeowners that are renting out or leasing that are not making the payments either. So that's another problem. So banks stand to make billions from the pandemic, and basically what it is the fees they charge people from the stimulus money. Banks are making a ton of cash. And lumber shortage putting a strain on building industry in Canada. So a piece of fence board used to be $3.26, now costs $5 or more. I looked into it. A piece of fence board of this size right now in BC, it's actually $11.75 for a piece of fence board. That same fence board in Kansas City, imported from Canada, $1.96. So Hollywood's saying if people miss payments, what happens? Well, on a mortgage, what happens on a mortgage is you miss the first payment, it gets reported to your credit bureau picks it up as a R1. So your bank gets notified, and your bank, basically what happens is the collections department of the bank notifies somebody, basically call you and say you missed a payment on your mortgage. Then they'll call you every week so you can catch that up. And then if you go 2 months without making a payment, you get an R2, and then you get an R3. And then once it gets to R6, and it becomes 180 days overdue, then it gets escalated to a different department in the banking cartel, where they start taking more affirmative action. And then what happens is when it gets to R9, then they start doing foreclosures and moving in on the property. So when you get to 9 months overdue, then they start to then that's what starts to happen. So there's your lumber shortage right there. Extension of mortgage deferral program must be considered. Again, somebody, you know what needs to happen? Somebody needs to come forward in a level of government and say, hey, we screwed up. We overestimated this. We're sorry. But no, everybody's too good to be wrong. So, biggest fall in new home building in 19 years. Victoria dominates regional job losses. This is in Victoria, Australia, where basically the entire state's in shutdown because I think 9 people died of COVID-19 there since January. So, they got to shut everything down. They need to shut everything down, or it's going to be a big problem. I'm being sarcastic. I hope you guys could read through my sarcasm. We got 3RG in the comments saying there is also a high probability that mass concealedness of depression and anxiety is being amplified via because there is such mass of people suffering these symptoms like some sort of second or some sort of smoke. The consciousness mass of all society is spreading this depression. So we got 0% saying narcissism is at an epidemic levels. That's the true virus. Then we have Hollywood saying Elizabeth in public, best to stay quiet. People are hypnotized. Sorry, guys, I'm just reading the comments here. A decade of saving and above average income required to buy a house in Auckland. So I keep calling Auckland, New Zealand. I keep calling New Zealand a nation of renters because for the local person to buy a house, prospective home buyers in Auckland household needs an income of 130. Whoa, there's music. Shut up. Of $130,000 if they want to get a decent look at a property market according to a mortgage broker. So they need to make $130,000 a year, but that's just like a trailer home. You're not buying a house, like you know what I'm saying? In Gisborne, you could break the market with a combined household income of $80,000. Home affordability nationwide improved slightly over 3 months ending in June. So A couple with a combined income of 100,000 and a 20% deposit. So you need to put 200,000 down. You need to combine income of 100,000, and you have a mortgage for the rest of your life. So there you go. During the average house price doubled from 381,000, 2007. The average house price in New Zealand is 739,000, and in Auckland, that's $1 million right there. So, and when we're talking about houses, guys, let me show you. Like, let me see if I could see a house like I could show you. Like, it's just like an average house like this in a neighborhood. It doesn't have a pool. It doesn't have a helicopter pad like the houses I was showing you guys with the basketball courts in the States and everything. No, it's none of that stuff. That's just a house to get you by. Then we have, there's another debt deferral cliff looming this fall. Deferred payments on $11 billion in student loans to resume in October amid grim job prospects for graduates. So a lot of people that do come, so when they keep talking about like we were looking at this, how in Canada now, this is old 2017, white people are divisible minorities now, and we were getting into the nitty gritty here in this article, how right here, regional differences and Canada and Australia, and I'll show you what it is. 62%. Where is it? A majority of immigration is from China. I just want to find that piece here that ties in of the amount of students they bring in. So a lot of students just stay and then get a job. Here, so foreign students is 77,000 foreign students. International students with temporary foreign workers, and now comprise more than 77,000. So those 77,000 people are going to want to find jobs, right, and stay in Canada. And that's a huge issue because the people living here don't have a chance in hell. Canada, where did you go wrong? So this is the house I showed you that sold for $1.85 million above asking, sold for a whopping 7.1 million Australian dollars. That's like 5 million US. So I can't even find a house for that much money in the States. Like, they're all super huge mansions with an airport and a landing thing to land your plane, and for that much money in the States, and like on 40 acres with a private underground parking, and it comes with 3 cars if you buy it, and fully furnished. I can't even find anything like this thing. I don't know, man. This thing for 2 million above its reserve. House hunting in London once again. Dark garage, now an airy light box. So what's happening in London is they're converting these garages now into apartments. There it is. They're converting apartments. They're building second stories on apartments, and they're converting garages into apartments now. So if you have a garage for your car, just convert it into an apartment if you're living in London, England, because you can't afford to live in a house. So convert a garage and call it a house and tell people, yeah, I live in a house. You walk in, this is a garage. No, this is a house. No, this is a garage. The new estate next to me, the neighbor's house gutters are 1 inch apart. UN's stack and pack program at play. Mike Banks says, I don't know. I'm pretty sure if a tree falls in the woods, though no one saw it, that it still fell. Someone says, you got a toilet through, Mike. Come on. You got a toilet through. It's about time Gary's back. Okay, let's see. We have trippy chat. Everyone's saying there's a trippy chat. All right, guys, so that's it. You know, you live in a garage, then there you go. You know what I'm saying? You want to do that, you go ahead and do that. You know? Okay, markets are open right now in Australia. All orders are up 9.6, sitting at 6,304. The ASX 200 is up 4 points. Up 4, sitting at 6,120. The Australian to US dollar is sitting at 72 cents. Oil is down 2 cents, sitting at 43.37 a barrel. Gold is at 19.59, up $6.90 right now as we speak for spot gold. BTC is at, I don't know what that is in American dollars. And the FTSE is up 8.59. It closed in the UK, and the New Zealand Stock Exchange is at 12,053, up 21 points right now as we speak. And the one I want to see more is the Nikkei. Right now in Japan, they're down 26.62 points, and the Hang Seng is it says it's up 5.57. All right. Woo! All right, Steve the plumber said he wanted to come on. He has some important news he wants to tell us. So let's see if we could get him on. Gary Medeiros, I don't know if you're watching. Can you get a hold of Steve and find out? Oh, there he is. He's turning it on. Oh, man. Come on, Steve. He told me he needs to come on the show today. He's got pickup. I am live. Oh, we got the Lost Canuck back in the house. Gary Medeiros is here. We got Elizabeth here. Alan Howick in here in the house. Ben Winter in the house. First seen in Once We Were Worries. I don't know what he's talking about there. Once We Were Warriors. Are you getting a Shima on today, says Paul. I don't even know if she's, let me see if she's, here we go. Oh, it's Lost Canuck. Yo, Mario, what's up, buddy?
What's happening, brother?
Oh, not much, not much. Steve is trying. I don't know where Steve is. He wanted to come on the show tonight really badly. He called me 3 times yesterday.
Oh, I know, buddy. I know.
He's got some big. He said he's got some big news or some big juicy gossip that he's got for us.
Right on, buddy. Right on. I just wanted to get on. Thank you for taking my call.
No problem.
I won't be too long, but you know everybody's not doing much. Yeah, nobody's doing much with this CERB. A lot of people are getting paid to sit at home, including myself. But I have a couple interviews, so everybody was asking. Mike, the thing I'm going to talk about right now is what is happening here in Barrie for the last, I'd say, right after July 1st, things were selling like crazy here. Mm-hmm. Townhouses were gone, but we're still are not at the levels of 2017. We're almost there with the numbers. A lot of people are breaking even or making maybe 30, 40 grand left when they're all done, when they bought in 2017 and 18. Mm-hmm. So when real estate tells us that the market's really good, it's not. Because what you do is when you sell a house on a good financial, I can say, aspect of it, you should be making at least 10, 15%. They're not getting that. They're not getting that. And the issue is now that, I don't know if you read The Better Dwelling the other day, they were talking about mortgages already expiring. So we have a lot of mortgages out there in October that are expiring and they have to renew. So that means around January, February, if they can get a mortgage at a bank, depending what their outcome is and debt levels, you know, people have got second or third mortgages on most of these houses. You got TD Bank that's got $2 billion of home line of credit out there. And that's what we're having an issue now. So all these real estates that are even watching, some of them are legit. Some of them are good people. I'm not criticizing. There's always good people in a bad apple environment. But most of them are playing the key because all they do is care about themselves. Now, when I say that, I mean they're bringing up things that don't make any sense. For example, You got townhouses here that I sold mine, as we all know, for 64. They're getting the same as they're getting then. So they haven't made any progress when it comes to profit. And then when you got all these big rush, because the rumor is here in Barrie, they're saying, oh, people are selling in Toronto and they're moving up here. I don't believe one friggin' word about that, because I'll explain everybody something. If you can't sell in Toronto, how are you buying in Barrie?
Yeah.
Mike, and I know, they're not selling in Toronto. You got all this communist Chinese that's invested into our country, and especially our province, that they're making a big push. They're making a big push to try to sell it. Just like the last big recession we had, a month before, houses were going crazy.
It was the melt up.
Oh, yes. And then this is what I call a built up. If it's not Mike, you could shoot me, because I don't get it. With GPA, the unemployment the way it is, the GP, the debt ratio, I don't understand it. It's like watching the Big Short movie on TV when the states were saying it's going to crumble and everybody thought they were crazy. And you're shorting out on stocks. So my issue is to everybody out there, this pandemic that's going around, I'm not saying there's not a virus. I'm not saying that. But they're making it worse than what it is.
Exactly.
100 times worse. And this is a reset button that they don't want to tell you that this is not working anymore globally. Never mind Canada. We're not working globally. We're going to have issues. You just read it. We're going to have student debts at its highest level, and we're going to pay that off. You got airlines that have been grounded, and now they're going back. That's funny. We're worried about masks. Here's a question I want to ask anybody out there. We go to a restaurant, you got to wear it to go through the door. As soon as you sit down, you take it off. Okay? You're taking it off. Okay? Such a big, bad virus. Then what kills me is, by the way, you were saying about my garage. This is my garage. It's my shop now. Okay? So this is where I live when I'm in trouble by the boss upstairs, right?
Well, we can't see you. There's no audio, there's no video.
Okay.
That's
I don't know what's going on. I thought I had it on video, but I guess not. But
no, we just got your audio.
That's okay. That's okay. And this is what's happening. It's happening all over the place. You got airlines that are bringing in people. They're not 6 feet apart. I've been talking to stewardess that live all in Barrie because they can't afford Toronto, Mississauga, or anywhere. So they've been working there 30 years, 40 years, and they told me they're packed. The airlines are packed. There's no masks. There's no separation of 6 feet. So here's a question I want to ask everybody. Don't be fooled with the people that are sheep. If they want to follow the guidelines, don't disrespect them, but I would turn around and say, don't disrespect me. If you want to wear that mask, you go ahead and wear that mask. Because the last time we wore a mask was under slavery, where they weren't allowed to speak. And that's what's happening.
A muzzle, Yeah,
a muzzle. So that's what you're wearing.
Mario, I got some breaking news from a real estate course, like a big real estate, okay, I'm not going to get into too much detail of what this person does because I think they could find out who it is. I'm just going to let you know. Now, I'm going to ask you one question. In the province of British Columbia, let's just pick BC because I got the numbers for BC. For people 40 years and under, how many percent of people of 40 years and under that were born and raised in Canada could afford to get into the housing market? How much percentage? You think 40% of people could still get in? 30?
I'd say 15.
15?
Yep.
Okay. Here are the numbers right here. And this is death. If anyone finds out who gave me this, is pretty much death. Okay, listen to this. People 40 years and under in the province of British Columbia, only 1.6% of people could get into the housing market.
I'm laughing not to laugh at them. I'm laughing because our government failed.
But now, hold on. Let's take one step back. Mario, do you remember last week's trends in the housing market where I was reading the article where BC cannot find first-time homebuyers?
Yeah.
That's what's happening here. Now, do you know what now I got the percentage points. So people 40 years and under, only 1.6% of them that were born and raised and live in Canada could get into the housing market. Now, here's the other end of the court. Housing needs to be corrected 61% for average wage earners to even get into a basic one-bedroom apartment. And land needs to come down 68%. The price of land needs to come down 68% for the average wage earner to be able to buy land in their own country.
Unbelievable, man.
I'm not talking about minimum wage. We're talking about the statistics that were given to me here are people making $56,000 to $91,000 a year.
Well, Mike, I'm going to tell you what's happening here. We have two companies that are really pushing rent to own now in Barrie. So is that going to bring our market up?
No.
Is it going to bring people that are desperate to get into the, I think you made a definition of people getting into the market, worried that they're not going to get in the market. People have to understand renting is not the worst thing, man. It's not the worst thing. You don't want to be in debt $700,000-800,000 the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. And I think what's going to happen is if we don't get a push on a reset, I don't know what to call it anymore. I really don't know. I think we're on borrowed time right now.
Oh, we've been on borrowed time for the last 4.5 years.
Yeah, but the problem is now we have government that don't want to step up to the plate. We're worried about this pandemic, apparently. We're worried about wearing masks. This guy's, I don't know if you watched my last videos. I don't want to say it on your channel, but I don't believe it's one person that's running the show, especially when you got one person impersonating one and another. And listen, this is off topic, but I want you guys to remember that's listening to this show. Pay attention to the dates that this guy does. Mm-hmm. Because September 23rd is the day he's supposed to open up Parliament. Okay? And if you look at that, Mike, you can punch it in on your computer while you're listening to me. Mm-hmm. Punch in the meaning of the moon. It's very critical. Mm-hmm. So if people want to look up spiritual meaning of the moon on that day, they can understand why Trudeau's opening that day. And remember, the Trudeau families, that number is very satanic to them, 23. They love that number. Mm-hmm. And remember, he's the 23rd prime minister.
Yeah, I just thought of that right now. Okay, so back to, I just want to bring this up real quick. So 1.6% of people born and raised and working in the province of BC that are 40 years and under could get into the housing market, 1.6. Now, in the province of Saskatoon, now throw a number at me, 40 years and under, average wage earners, how many percentage in Saskatchewan, do you think, Mario, people could get in?
Oh, I could say that's a higher number.
You're right on that.
Yeah, that's a higher number. You're going to have, but Mike, you got to remember too, right? Numbers change in graphs, right?
Oh, but this is actually big.
Yeah, it's big, but you got to remember how many people are living in Vancouver under the age of 40 that are Canadian born, and look at how many numbers are living in Saskatoon that are, they're taking over family businesses, farms.
We're getting the whole province though. It's the whole province of BC. Yeah.
I'd say about 35%.
You're close. Saskatoon, 40 years and under, average wage earners, 79% could get into the market.
Okay, I'm close. I love you.
That's pretty much the whole population. 79% are people that are over 20, and the rest is probably children.
Jesus, Murphys.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's crazy.
What about Ontario? Do you have that one?
Okay, hold on. I'm just looking at it's on a piece of paper here. So here it is. 40 years and under, province of Ontario, northern and southern. Hold on. It's just a lot of numbers here. This is a big graph. Hold on a sec. Ontario. I got to read it across here. Let me read it across. 40 years and under, born and raised in Canada. I don't want foreigners. Hold on. Oh, that's not too bad. It's 3.6%.
Oh, fuck. Excuse my language.
Yeah, 3.6% of the average wage earners in the province of Ontario, born and raised in Canada.
Yeah.
3.6% could get into the property market.
Here's a question I want to ask you now, Mike. Now, they're using this COVID-19 where companies are going to profit, including lumber. You just mentioned it.
Well, lumber's skyrocketing.
Yeah. So what's going to happen now when people go buy houses?
Well, they're going to have to buy their lumber in the States and pay the duties, and it's cheaper.
Yeah, but it looks like the builders are going to make an excuse to raise the houses another 10, 15%. to cover their costs on lumber. It's not just lumber, eh? You guys got to remember out there, it's everything to deal with plumbing, drywall. Everything's going to be skyrocketing now. This is just a root of a problem that's just going to escalate until people cannot. They're forced not to buy that house. They can't. They can't. And
Okay.
like but I want other people to call in, Mike. I want to listen to your show.
Hold on, Mario. This graph that I have here that was sent to me by a professional analysis basically said that this is basically putting down a 10% down payment, and it's within wages, respectfully within anywhere from 3 to 7% in wage differences. And it's also saying that it is, I'm just going through this graph here. So it's BC is the worst province for people born and raised in the province to get into their own market, because they got to put 10% down and they have to make X amount and all that stuff. Saskatoon Saskatchewan is the first easiest, and then 77% with New Brunswick, and then PEI, it's like 53%, and then it keeps going down the list.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we all knew, Mike, that we're going to find out those numbers. Until you see the numbers, like I told you, until you see your bank account, then you start to realize you're waking up. Until somebody says it to you, it's just going to pass through one ear throughout the other. But once you see the the graph and understand those numbers, it's sad. It's sad. And like I said, we need a bust. We need a big bust. And it's unfortunate to say, because I'm going to tell you, like I said it on your message, first of all, you're going to have pension companies and pension investments are going to ask for bailouts. Okay? That's what's going to happen by November, December. I can't see this keep going. Then you're going to have all the banks are going to ask for bailouts very soon. Because now you got the CMHC that are already telling the banks to lay off. And now you have, of course, B lenders and C lenders that increase their business at least 60 to 70% in the matter of 4 or 5 months. So I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't know, and it's sad, but it's just too bad. I wish people would stop buying. I'll be honest with you. I wish people would stop buying houses and just stop. And you'll see the dramatic change that we need. Gary Medeiros, myself, Steve, I think, sold his house and he's planning. We all want to plan to buy a house, but we don't want to pay $700,000, $800,000, and it takes us to our graves, and we still have what's called a mortgage. In Latin, it means death, right? Mm-hmm. To your debt. So it's very interesting. I like to see our government step in and start creating jobs. Like you said, you've been saying it for a long time. And you see it happening in the States, and we should be doing the same thing. And it's
I don't even want the government to create jobs. The government could go straight to hell and leave the private sector alone.
Yeah.
Cut back on the taxes. Stop the bull crap of all this extra readmittance you have to put for getting an employee and all this other bull crap. Leave us alone. Let us run our business and let us pay our taxes and let us fund the public sector. If the private sector doesn't fund the public sector, they're just going to be printing money until that kingdom come.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And it's sad. It's sad. And I don't know what's going to happen.
And then the police are going to turn into military, and that's what's going to happen.
They have to. They have to, buddy. We have people that are supporting this BLM, which I don't understand. And I don't know about you, Mike, but I'm Canadian. You could be black, purple, and alien. I'll still give you a drink of water. I'll still give you help. Mm-hmm. And we've come to where we have the media telling us what's racist and what's not. I wish it'd stop. It just stop. It just makes me sick. I don't even turn on the TV anymore. I couldn't care less about Netflix, because Netflix is like the controlling of your mind. That's all it is. They want to make all these movies about everything that's against who's in power, and it's sad.
Mario.
It's sad.
Mario.
Yes.
Did you watch that video, my friend, about when I was showing like land in the States where you could grow all year because the weather's decent, and you could grow tobacco, kiwi, avocados, oranges, like 10 acres for like $6,000?
Jesus, Murphys. No,
Did you watch that Trends in the Housing Market? It's like 3 trends or 2 trends ago. We did a land show where we're discussing land, and we were looking at land in the U.S., just land, 10 acres and bigger. We saw, I think it was 55 acres in Oklahoma for like $13,800 off a main highway. We saw another one in Texas, like it was 58 acres for like $17,800. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, but you also got to take in consideration, you got to do land, how do you say, ground samples and make sure they're not contaminated,
Oh
things like
no, I'm
that.
talking about
You know what
buying
I
out
mean?
in the country away from everything,
Oh,
and
buddy.
putting your little, you know what one couple did? They actually messaged me. They came by my store. They came to talk to me like 2 months ago, and they said they bought a plot of land in northern Florida, an hour outside of Orlando, northeast of Orlando, and what they did was they bought the land on their credit card for like $9,000 US. They drove their RV there and parked it there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking at it's unbelievable. My wife and I are looking into building our own tiny home. Just buying land and building your tiny home. Because if this keeps going the way it's going, you're not going to be afford to pay. Nobody's going to be. I don't understand it. Food's going to go up soon and more and more. You got lumber that's going up. And like you said, if you don't buy your own land, I don't know about your garden, but mine was doing pretty good till now. Like till this, I guess, fall. But I've had a lot of tomatoes, a lot of zucchinis, cucumbers. It's so nice to taste it. Oh, God.
But Mario, imagine if you're in northern Florida, South Carolina, you buy 10 acres of land, because this is what I'm thinking of doing with my wife. You know what I'm thinking of doing? Because Bellingham is like in Seattle SeaTac Airport. We could drive to Seattle from where I live. It's not that far. We fly. We could even rent a car and leave the car there and just say I'm just taking it there and leaving it there. Fly to Orlando direct, okay, for like $120, and then from Orlando drive like an hour to a piece of land I'm looking to buy.
It's not a bad idea, Mike.
Yeah, and then that's it. And when I come home, I go back to the Orlando International. I can even drive to Miami and leave the rent-a-car there, and then fly back to Seattle and drive home to Vancouver or to where I live.
You're unbelievable, buddy.
No,
I'm gonna call you traveling Mike.
I'm looking at 14 acres, and the guy wants 22,000, but it's got a river, it's got a pond, and it has hog and boar hunting on it.
Wow, you can even charge people to go on there.
Well, I'm not going to do that, but I mean, it's already fenced, and it's off of a major highway there in Northeast Florida, and I know where it is located. I'm really thinking about when things open up again, and just maybe going there, buying this piece of land, very cheap, no mortgage, property tax is about $85 a year, and that's it.
Maybe I'll go with you, buddy.
If you want.
Yeah.
No, I'm not kidding. Just go.
Not either.
I'll tell you what airport to fly in. I'll just pick you up at the airport.
We'll go, buddy. We'll go. We'll get Gary Medeiros to give us a plane, buddy.
Yeah.
He's good. Anyway, Mike, you have a good night, buddy. Let other people call. You too, brother. We'll talk later.
Okay.
Ciao, man.
Ciao. So that is Mario. We couldn't see him. I'm very disappointed. I like seeing him, but we couldn't see him. And yes, that's what we're looking at doing. We're just sick and tired of like, I want to have a bit of land, like some land, maybe 10, 15 acres. And I'm just sick and tired of not... Okay, Ralphie's calling. What's up, Ralphie? We're just sick and tired of like... Hello? A bit of land, like some land. I'm hearing feedback. And I'm just sick and tired of not... Hello? All right, we're getting some serious feedback from Ralphie. I hope he didn't call us by accident. I hope he didn't call us by accident. I hope he's okay. I hope he didn't push the buttons by accident. Oh.
Hello, Mike.
Yo, how are you, my brother?
Good. What's going on?
Nada. I just want to call you, and you were talking in the comments about a whole bunch of mortgages going sideways in the States.
Yeah.
A couple of million.
Yeah, I just watched a vlog about an hour ago by Johnny Bravo. He's a Southern California high school business teacher, I believe, and then he's an investor, does swing trading, and he's got some real estate and all that. And he just showed an article that said that the mortgages in America that are 90 days late has increased in the last year by 1.8 million, and that 40 million Americans could face eviction if the laws were followed. If people that were not paying their rent got what they normally would get, which would be an eviction notice, eviction and foreclosure on mortgages combined, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of, what I've been hearing is a lot of Canadians buying up land. This is actually a little trend that's been under the radar. Canadians that could get into the U.S. still, or dual citizen Canadians or whatever, they're actually buying land on their credit card and moving down and parking an RV there. That's in the eastern United States, though, in the southeast.
Well, that's going to be more and more popular. I have a friend who's partners on the largest RV dealership on the Oregon coast, and he's actually his couple acre lot is just real close to where I'm at right now, and I talk with him regularly. And his RV business, I thought it was going to just take a dive, and it was weak at the beginning of this virus because he was in the winter season, and I thought it was going to continue or get worse. But he said the last 2 years before this virus were his two best sales years. I mean, just booming sales. This year is just off the charts. He's selling so many RVs, he can't believe it. He's buying as many as he can find, and he can't get him. He's having trouble getting new inventory because the manufacturers have slowed down, or they're having trouble getting materials or parts. So his business is booming because people want to get the hell out of here because of the virus. They want to be free. They want to go somewhere and be able to not wear a mask and not be told what to do, and maybe go out and sit by a lake for a while. Or they're also, like you mentioned, they're starting to live in an RV because it's too damned expensive to rent or to buy.
It's Canadians, a lot of Canadians. So here it is. There's this one here. This is the one I've been looking at with my wife. $38,000, 11.9 acres. It's in Chiefland, Florida. It's in a decent area. It's a waterfront property. It's got a lake. It's got fresh water here. It's on a waterfront. You could launch your boat and stuff. And 11 acres. It's a good area because there's lots of land to plant and to park. It's got a little bit of swamp, but nothing super major. But it's got a lot of dry land where you could park your RV, and it's about $38,000 for almost 12 acres. And I think that's a good, and it's fenced off too. So I think people, if they could finance that on a line of credit, they're looking at about, I think, like $200 a month. $250 a month on a line of credit for that, 38 grand.
You always want to make sure you've got a real good source of water. I know being on a lake seems like you'd have plenty of water, but that's the first thing with country property is you want to have a good source of water.
Yeah.
And then you also want to be sure about zoning, because there are some places in Oregon where you can actually, camp out on your own property if you've got some acreage. You're not supposed to really have an outhouse, but some people have an outhouse and they just dry camp on their own property, and you can actually set up some solar panels and generators, and you can go just off the grid totally.
So I'm looking at
live for nothing.
So in Barnesville, Georgia, 255 acres, $24,900. There's a huge aerial sky view of it by the airplane. So a lot of Canadians, and I know Americans too, a lot of them are parking RVs, and if they could sell, think of it like this, Mitch. They sell their condo in New York for, let's say, $630,000. They could pocket $250,000. They buy an RV for $45,000, one with all the bells and whistles, and they buy a piece of land for $20,000. They got property tax, $160 a year for property tax. I think they could. I think a lot of people could do okay in the South. It's not that cold,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm seeing this pattern happening. I've heard a lot of Canadians doing this. They're doing this with their stealth vans and stealth trucks. And, there's another beautiful lot here. Look at this, beautiful. It got two rivers going through it. It's off a major highway, 11 acres, $19,900.
Yeah, Mike, my family immigrated to Texas in the 1880s from a town that they had been in since 1812 called Camden, Tennessee. It's right on the Tennessee River. It used to be Humphreys County, and then they divided it and redid the lines, and it's called Benton County, Tennessee, and it's where Patsy Cline's plane crashed with Hacksaw and those guys. You know, when Patsy Cline died about 1960 in that plane crash, it was right in Camden, Tennessee. Well, there's just a few thousand people that live there. I have been there, been to my old family cemeteries, my original family 80-acre farm since 1812. And I've been looking at property there, and you can buy a little house there for $50,000.
Well, of course you can. And that's why people are leaving New York in droves. People are wondering, whoa, what's happening in New York? Well, the entire Commonwealth has been seeing every major city in the Commonwealth, whether it's Vancouver, Toronto, Sydney, Melbourne, Auckland, and New Zealand, London, this mass exodus of people leaving these cities already for the last 10 years because they can't afford to live in their own cities. And when you get a report like this, like I got, 1.6% of people 40 years and under, average wage earners born and raised in Canada, only 1.6% could get into their housing market. That's crazy.
Yes, it is. And by the way, Real Kevin so far has been proven right.
But Real Kevin Thompson is unstoppable.
Yeah, so far he's been proven right.
He's been right. He's been right 100%.
I just watched a vlog this afternoon with that Robert Kiyosaki had Harry Dent, which I don't like Harry, but he had another short-term market analyst that Hartley, I think was his name. Anyway, they talked about short-term cycles and long-term cycles, you know, between 7 years, 45 years, 90 years, going back to the 1600s, and all the different indicators that they looked at, lots of different indicators, demographics and price earnings ratios, et cetera, on all the indices. And they both seemed to agree, and so did Robert, that something has to blow up here, that the Fed keeps printing all this money. It's happening in all the central banks. They're just printing trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, driving up all the asset prices like crazy, because that's where the money's going, into the stock market, into the bond market, into the real estate market. That's where almost all the money's going. And some is going into cryptos and gold, but most of it's going into the traditional markets. And something's got to give.
America's nowhere near as bad as the rest of the Commonwealth. Nowhere near.
They're true. New Zealand is the worst. Australia is a very close second. And then Canada and England are right there after them, and then America.
Mm-hmm. But think about it. It's crazy where things are headed. It's like America is nowhere near. They have no idea. People are freaking out in Florida that the average house went from $206,000 to $285,000 benchmark price. I'm like, that's a walk in the park for someone in Canada. Their rent that they're paying for a basement 1-bedroom suite could pay that mortgage twice in Florida. Twice.
Yeah, Americans don't know how good they have it. Mike, I went over to Ireland in 1988, and at that time, I went over to Galway to my family's, ancestral property there, and they were paying probably $3 for gas in 1988. They were buying it by the liter, but it was a good $3 for gas, probably more, and we were paying about $1 here roughly. And so and Ireland at the time had never experienced a boom. Since then they've experienced 2 booms and 1 bust. It was boom and then bust in the 90s, boom and then bust, and then now they're booming again. But before that, Ireland had been poverty-stricken since the beginning of time, and everybody was poor. They were super poor, very poor, and gas was 3 times as much as it was in America. Mm-hmm. So Americans don't know how good they have it.
They don't. And they don't understand what other people are facing. I have a lot of Americans now that are tuning into my channel and starting to see that video that I did earlier today where that house in Australia sold for $1.8 million over asking, sold for $8 million. And what you could buy for $1 million in America in comparison to that $8 million is absolutely, or that laneway house in Vancouver, that laneway shack in someone's backyard for 1.8 million Canadian dollars. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
I'll give you an example of how easy it is for most Americans, Mike. My friend that just passed away, I took care of his affairs, and he was renting an apartment, but he was on HUD. You know what I mean? That's housing assistance. And he was renting an apartment that rented for $575 US a month. He was paying $150 a month. And he was getting about $800 a month on Social Security, but he got food stamps, so he got about $200 a month in free food. All of his medical was paid. He got 100% medical, all paid, surgeries, office visits, all his pharmacy, everything was paid free. He got $350 a year in electricity allowance. You can get a free phone. You can get internet assistance. And he was saving about $300 or $400 US a month every month for the last couple of years since he got on housing. Before he passed away, he had a pretty big, not big, but for a guy that hadn't worked in many, many years, he was actually increasing his net worth every single month, even though he wasn't working, and he was 100% because he was living almost for free. And I know other people in America like that too. Some that are younger and actually doing side hustles, making money and living like that too, getting all the free stuff and making money. And it's a big scam. It's kind of like they say in France, the national pastime is everybody sits around and figures out how to game the system.
Yeah.
But it's got to come to an end, Mike, because more than 50% of every dollar the government spends in America now is debt creation. It's not from tax revenues.
And infrastructure revenues from the private sector.
Yeah, and those receipts are plummeting right now as their expenses are increasing. So the percentage of the government expenses now that is attributed to debt is increasing astronomically.
Okay. All right, Mitch, I'm going to let you go. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you and giving us an update on what's happening. And we'll have you on again, and stay strong, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, take care, all.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye, Mitch.
God bless, Mike.
That is Mitch from outside of Portland, Oregon, who wanted to kind of I wanted to get him on to find out what is happening in his neck of the woods. I need to call Stephen Thomas. I promised him I'll call him. He's in lockdown in Melbourne, Australia. I don't know if he's on lunch right now. I know it's Thursday afternoon there.
Hello.
Stephen.
Hi.
How you doing, buddy? How's your lockdown situation? Oh no, his internet's no good right now.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Steve, what's up? I can barely hear you. You okay? Oh, we're getting.
Yeah, hold on, I'll just turn the volume up. That better?
Okay,
I'm
we'll
on
talk.
Bluetooth.
Okay, we'll call you later then.
Yeah, no, it's give me 10 minutes.
Okay, bye. Okay, that's Stephen Thomas in Melbourne, Australia, who is stuck in lockdown, and Ralphie's trying to call in right now. Hold on, Ralphie. Ralphie, give me a second here. Let me see. There was somebody else I was supposed to get on the show today. Well, let's see if the Raven will pick up. He just sold his property today.
Hey, how's it going? I just turned your channel on and I see you calling.
No, I'm calling you because you sold your property today. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. I got my realtor here. We're celebrating.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good. Winnie Pooh, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, she got me good money. She because this property has it's got unlocked potential here. There's a possible triplex and there's a lot next door that's attached, but you got to separate the lot, do a full subdivision, and for someone to look at it. That lot's worth 120 grand. When it's separated, it's sitting there. That's a $120,000 lot.
Well, you did well.
You know,
Can I tell you why? With the price of materials going up the way they are in Canada, you did real good.
Oh, yeah. I noticed we're hauling tons of wood from the west. Mm-hmm. Tons of wood. Like, we've lost other stuff, but we're making up. Like, we've lost probably autos. I think the auto market's a little soft, but we're making up for it on the softwood from BC. Mm-hmm. We're keeping Supreme Cannon busy, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, we're having a really, really big issue here because there's people locally that are buying wood from the United States because it's cheaper to buy Canadian wood from the United States because it's cheaper to buy than buying it here in Canada.
Yeah, that's all just it's all because of COVID. It's just I built 3 decks and 3 staircases this summer. I would never have done that, really, but maybe done 1. I did 3 because we couldn't go nowhere. We wanted to go to Mexico. We couldn't go. So we ended up spending money on around the house and that. So, yeah.
Well, that's good. You sold your place. Are you going to buy 25 acres of land in northern Florida for 12 grand?
No, no.
I'm just throwing that out there. You made a bit of money. You just put 12 grand aside and buy 25 acres of land. You can park an RV when you want, and no one's going to bug you.
I'm looking out the outskirts, out of the city, with maybe like 5 acres, some land. I need land. As much as I don't want to have.
How much is it going to cost you for land there in Manitoba?
Out here?
Yeah.
You know what? You know what the funny thing is? My brother sold his house tonight too. We both sold our house on the same day.
That's good.
And he has 5 acres. Yeah, he's just on the outskirts. He's like 2 miles past the perimeter. Mm-hmm. And he sold his for asking price, and I sold mine for asking price. Mm-hmm. We both sold our house on the same day. I thought that was weird. He has 5 acres though.
Oh, the house he sold had 5 acres on it.
He did. His property has 5 acres.
How much did that one, if you don't mind me asking, sell for?
He was asking $550. He sold for $545.
Oh, that's really good.
Big
house. Let him know he could take $12,000 of that, and he could buy 25-acre lot in Basin, Florida, just north of Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
For 12 grand.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just making. I'm just joking around.
So yeah, I know.
He sold 5 acres and he's getting back 25, and he could plant tobacco.
You know what, Mike? Look at CN shares today. What are they? $140.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID, they were $126. Yeah. We lost a third of our business, and our stock went up to $140. Housing markets are going crazy all over the place.
I love it.
Gold and silver are going up. Look at Iran. Their currency's collapsing. Their housing market's hot as hell. Their stock market's hot as hell. And their gold market is hot. All this debased currency is looking for a place to hide all around the world, and their country's no different than ours. I took advantage of that housing market today and got out. Mm-hmm. But that currency's looking for a place to hide. So I don't even know where I hide my currency now. Do I just sit back and let it debase more and more every day? But that's why people say, why is it all going?
I bought new gold this morning. I shorted it a few times.
Oh, you did? Nice.
Yeah, I shorted it. I shorted it when it was at 230 or 2 whatever, when it went really high. I shorted it, and I bought it back at 190 something. I can't this morning. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bought it back again this morning. I keep shorting it and buying it and shorting it and buying it.
That's almost an impossible thing to do.
Oh, don't be silly.
You know what? Silly. You're chasing crumbs. No, you want the whole bread truck.
But the thing is, when you called me that day, I shorted gold with 2 hours after before the market closed. I shorted it right then and there, and it went down for like 5 days straight.
Just do the opposite of what I say. You'll be rich. I tell my friend, I said, I'm going to buy new gold today. He goes, oh, just wait. Let me sell first. Mm-hmm. He knows I've had some bad luck before. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, the people buying this place are going to separate the lot and build a house with a secondary unit probably. in the basement.
Do you know who bought it? Is it a young family, or
Who, who bought this place? Like, oh, she can't say. It's conditional still.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just I
Oh,
don't know.
no worries. But
I'm just
whatever. It's conditional. Like,
yeah. Well, we don't know where your property is anyways in the first place, so it doesn't. You know what I mean?
I don't. You know what, Mike? I don't really care. If people got nothing better to do than to come to TV, come on down. Yeah.
Okay, so well, I'm happy. I'm very happy that you unloaded your last property. So what are you gonna just rent now?
No. I have a duplex a mile away. I have a duplex with a possible third unit downstairs. I'm renovating that third unit. I'm moving in there.
Oh, so the Raven still has a bit of something to hold on to.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not. I'm gonna stay in the market. I'm not. I'm unloading. I'm taking some money off the table there. I did well on this property. I'm taking money off the table. If you don't, you're a gambler.
Yeah.
You got to take some money.
Yeah.
Right. But I can pay off all my debts. I'll have a bit of money left over. I'm looking at cryptos. Maybe I just can't. Man, something has stopped me this whole time from buying cryptos.
I don't know, man. I don't know any cryptos, dude. I did have a Bitcoin. When it went crazy, I went nuts to find that stupid wallet because I was mining Bitcoin like 8 years ago. I was actually mining it in my. I used to own a small cafe, internet cafe in Vancouver, and I had 16 computers. And at night I would mine Bitcoin.
Yeah,
I did it for years. I only got like 8 or 9 Bitcoin or 10 Bitcoin out of the whole deal, and I went nuts trying to find that hard drive or that key that I had. I almost lost 2 teeth trying to get that key.
You know what? There's a true story. I had 60 grand to go buy 100 Bitcoin when it was $600 a Bitcoin before 217 when it took off, just as it was running up. At $600 a Bitcoin, I was going to go buy 100 Bitcoin. And then this guy I know called me and said, "Hey, I got a big watch collection. Do you want to come buy it?" I ended up buying his watch collection instead.
What? Oh my God! If you bought that crypto, do you understand? Me and you could be partners in some big lucrative business, and we could have bought half of Louisiana with that money.
Yeah.
I'm being sarcastic.
But the Azores.
Oh, we'll just buy San Miguel. We'll buy the whole island.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really sad. I'm sad in a way that you told me that story, but I'm happy in a way that you still got a little bit of coinage today, and you're doing good. You took some money off the table. You're not gambling.
You know what? You got in this market. You got to be able to peek and move, man, and look at what's going. The oak is not the strongest tree in the forest. It's the willow because it's flexible.
That's right, and the palm tree is a shrub.
Yeah. You gotta. There's you can't invest. You have to speculate. You pretty much forced to be a speculator in this market. Buy gold. What are you going to do? It's hard to hold on to your money, and they're making it more difficult. And then taxes are going to be hit hard, and I could see that coming. But yeah.
Okay. All right, Raven. Thanks for the update. Listen, we'll have you on if you want to come on Trends in the Housing Market. I'm not sure if you're going to be working, but if you want to come on, let us know what is happening with the food shortages and all that stuff, and we'll talk about that then.
Yeah, I believe that's all going to be out.
Mike in the Night is, look, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's 3 days away, and there's a holy...
I'll be off.
Huh?
I got called to work. You called me there. I that last time I was on, I had to go. I was on a train. I had to get on. I had to go to work.
That's okay. I'm saying in 3 days. You know how many things could change in 3 days nowadays?
Oh, look what happened in that state there where the shootings they just had. I watched all those videos. I looked at they've lost control of their country. The banking system, the economy, they've lost control.
And all because it's an election year.
No, you know what? I don't believe that. If anything to do with that,
we were friends.
The politicians are at war with us. This is World War III. Most people don't even know we're at war right now. People need to wake up. This is even if you say that you're not going to do anything they say, the rest will. They're going to take us into this enslavement, man. We've got to wake up. And I don't know how this is going to be done. I'm really brainstorming on how to figure out how to start How do we get out of this?
Well, you're gonna have to tell us on spot. You'll have till Saturday to let us know.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
I'll put my thinking cap on.
Put your thinking cap on and let's start brainstorming ideas this Saturday.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. God bless you.
Yeah. Thanks for calling.
Bye. That is the Raven. He just sold his place. And, man, we got a lot of people now that are online that have their lines open. Wow. Everyone's flocking tonight. Woo! Everyone's flocking. Moby wants me to call him. I don't even have him on Skype anymore. I don't know what happened to his account. All right, let's call Steve Thomas back and find out what the heck is happening. He's in lockdown in Melbourne, Australia, and I would like to know if he's still in lockdown because this is kind of important because I don't want Canada to get any... He's not available. I don't want Canada to get any ideas. Oh, we got Ralphie here saying, call me if possible after the Raven. Just a quick 5-minute call. Okay, Ralphie, here we go. Ralphie!
G'day, mate.
Yo, Ralphie, how are you, my brother?
Oh, good, mate. Just enjoying the show as usual.
So, what's going down? You said you got something. You want to plug something here. What's going on? What do you want to plug?
I've got a quick question for you, Mike Martin's viewers. I want to know, is there a debt reset happening? What do you think? Do you think that there's going to be a jubilee coming?
They can't. They won't allow that.
You really? Why so?
They can't. I would like something to happen of the sorts, but I don't think there will be a debt reset. I don't see them. I just don't see them there. They got nothing to gain from it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. Because I mean, like going back to property, right? Do you see that the same playbook is happening throughout the Commonwealth, where basically you have investors buying single dwellings, right? So in New Zealand, they're buying them at 900,000 average,
right?
And then changing it to multiple dwellings and selling those off at 600,000 each. So that's a cool 2.4 million. But it's the same playbook, and I just want to know when is that bubble going to burst? Because if you think of a monopoly board, you've got the same players with red hotels in the monopoly board, and the rest of us is starting from scratch on go, you know?
Yeah, it's basically a lot of people are entering the soccer match at the beginning of the match, and they're already down 4-0. And that's the problem with catching up. Now, it goes back to this this graph I got today from somebody earlier this morning that people 40 years and younger in the province I'm living in British Columbia, average wage earners born and raised in this province, only 1.6% of them could get into the housing market. So it's over. It's over. We know it's over, Ralphie. We know the game's over. The gig is up. We get it. It's over. But the problem is, are they going to allow it to take its course and form a reset or have a decline or a crash? That's the question we need to ask. Are they going to allow us to live a normal life? That's the question.
Well, see, when you talk about throughout history, governments were able to forgive debt. Even the Bible says so. Right. So, like, even in Babylonia days, whenever you had a new ruler come to power, the first thing they would claim is like a clean slate, forgiving, you know, the population's debt, so debt jubilee. So at any moment they can do so, but like you say, it's whether they want to or not.
Would they allow it? That's the problem. And the thing is, I think we're being punished. I made my video the other day where I think we're being punished. They're punishing us, whether we're paying exorbitant property taxes. Even if you do own your home free and clear, you're paying crazy property tax. You're paying for utilities more than you know what I'm saying. I know a guy that what he pays in his utilities and property tax in Toronto, okay, could actually pay for like a 5-bedroom house in Texas, like a mortgage, just in utilities in Toronto. Never mind his mortgage and all the other stuff. So see, Americans have it so good they have no idea, Ralphie.
Oh, they have it so good. I mean, that an average American you could pay off your house in 5 years, right? Would you say so?
Oh, you could leave a decent life working at 7-Eleven in a lot of states.
Okay. Well, in New Zealand, it's a different matter. I mean, it's very commonplace to have a 30-year mortgage. You have places like London where it's common to have a 35-year mortgage.
Or no, interest-only mortgage.
Or interest-only mortgage, exactly. So you're basically a renter for life. But yeah, I just want to know, when are we going to get to a point where we're basically living the Judge Dredd movie in reality?
Well,
do you remember Judge Dredd?
I remember Judge Dredd, but I got a better reference. Do you remember RoboCop 1, 2, and 3? The old RoboCop?
Yeah.
From the 80s? Yep. Rewatch that and watch the commercials in it. They actually have commercials in that movie where it's like it looks like you're part of that era. And they're talking about housing affordability, homelessness, and these big corporations buying up Detroit and relocating people into work camps. It's all in RoboCop, the movie. I couldn't believe it when I saw those commercials. The commercials built into the movie as a joke, but they were so on par with today and what's happening today. It's actually unbelievable. I can't believe it. So in New Zealand, I just read the article. Housing is doing well in some parts, and it's still going up.
It's still going up. Some parts are going down because some places, like I placed a comment on your comment feed. It's actually commercial real estate that's falling first. So you're seeing a lot of empty commercial real estate.
Yeah, but that affects the private sector. And if the private sector can't fund the public sector, you're screwed because your police turn into military.
Exactly. But it is a domino effect. It's the first domino to fall is commercial real estate. And then you're going to start getting defaults in the private sector as well.
Actually, if you go back in history, you know what falls before commercial real estate?
What's that?
Mansions and wealthy. That falls first. It's usually the wealthy, like mansions and all this high-end real estate that's over $2, $3, $4, $5 million. Yeah. And then after that then commercial goes right after. It's usually the wealthy, like super rich penthouses and all that stuff go first, and then it's all commercial goes next, and then it becomes, after commercial, it's supposed to be residential, and then corporate starts to fall because residential or the middle class is not putting more money back into the economy, and then corporations suffer from that.
See, this is why I call in, Mike, because you're so onto it. You've been doing it for so long. But yeah, no, I just wanted to, a quick question, because I do want to listen to other callers today as well. But yeah, I just want to know if there's going to be a debt jubilee, and whether this bubble is going to pop, and whether they're going to go for it. Because I mean, people forget that Jesus Christ actually died because of the debt. Like, many people think the commandment, do not covet your neighbor's wife, is purely like a sexual term, but actually a few economists say that it's specifically towards Jesus was talking about creditors who would force the wives and daughters of debtors into sex slavery for collateral for unpaid debt. So, I mean, that's what, 10 commandments were about debt. So it's like, who's going to be our next Jesus Christ, if there's any? But, I just find that really interesting, because it's just that same play over and over again.
But you know what, Ralphie? It's gotten to a point right now. It's gotten to this specific point where now people are going into debt just to eat.
Yes, they're putting a cookie from the vending machine on their credit card, and they're going to pay off that cookie in the next 10 years, right?
Yes, that's the problem, Ralphie. It's no longer because of housing affordability. It's no longer about putting fuel in your car. Nobody owns cars anymore because everybody wants to be green. We're getting to a point where we're gonna live assetless with no assets. And the only way I could see them forgiving someone's debt is, one, they get chipped, they take the vaccine, they become part of the social credit score, and they can't leave their country.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's interesting talking points there. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly call you and see from your perspective whether we're going to go towards a debt reset or not.
Okay, well, if you could come, I need you to come on Mike in the Night, if that's okay, because I need you to come on Mike in the Night, because I know you have a very important announcement that you want to make. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get back to property, but great show again.
All right, God bless you.
God bless you too.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, that is Ralphie in New Zealand. There he is right there. You can still see me. Yeah, baby. Woo! Okay, so that is Ralphie. Check out his channel. He's got a YouTube channel. He's doing blogs and vlogs there if you guys want to check him out. And let's get Stephen Thomas here. We're wrapping up the show. Wow, look at this. Let's get Stephen Thomas on and finding out if that lockdown in Melbourne is still happening.
Person whom you're trying
Hey, I've been trying to reach you. You're a lot tougher to get than the president. He's not picking up. Okay. Okay, who do we got? So we got Matthew Ilu there. Ilu is actually have a really good comment. Would negative interest rates become a jubilee in a way? Yes, it will, but it'll enslave. It'll punish the savers. The people that save or for a rainy day are being punished. And it will reward borrowers into getting into more slavery. Oh yeah! Look what we have done. Yep. Anyways, I'm just reading the comments as they go by. So we covered some big articles here. Inventory jumps 40%. Only 31 units sell in Vancouver. That's new home inventory. So, oh, that's Stephen Thomas. Yo, I've been trying to reach you. I've been trying to reach you. A lot tougher to get than the president.
I know. I'm not that popular, am I?
Okay, Stephen, what the hell is going on? Is Melbourne, or the state of Victoria in Australia still in lockdown?
Yes. Basically, what is happening is that Melbourne, Australia, looks like getting an extra minimum of 12 months lockdown.
12 months of lockdown for what? The 3 people that died of this since January?
Correct.
Oh, okay, so guys listening, pay attention in the Commonwealth right now. If you're in the United States, if you're in England, if you're in Canada, if you're in New Zealand, listen to this guy right now. He's an accountant / a financial advisor living in Melbourne, Australia, and they're thinking of extending this bull lockdown. So what are the restrictions on your lockdown? You can't be 5 miles away from your place of residence?
Yes, correct. Now, what that means is if you need to have written authority from a government authority.
Okay, so you need written authority from the government authority to go more than 5 miles out of your place of residence.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay. So, are you like okay? What? So what's going to happen when people can't pay their mortgages and their rent?
Well, it's going to be a bit of a disaster, isn't it? And that's probably going to happen in October of this year because I've heard of a lot of people struggling with rentals and mortgages already. And they've basically said when October comes around, sayonara, that's it.
Okay, so if you can't leave the state, you have military checkpoint at your state, of the state of Victoria, there's a military checkpoint, so you can't leave.
Correct. And there's one on the border of Melbourne and the rest of Victoria.
Okay. Do you have to flee like what do you call it? Like a migrant?
Refugees in your own hometown, yes.
Refugees. Oh my God. So let's say you said, oh, Stephen, you're at home, you're just bored. You say, I'm going to go visit Mike Martin's in Merritt, British Columbia, and maybe go down to the restaurant there in Merritt and have a roast beef sandwich. You can't even do that?
No, can't do that.
Mama Fangulo. Okay, you're going to have to explain this. Because I don't want this to happen in the rest of the Commonwealth, because we're screwed, right?
As I said a while ago, if we go, you will follow.
Oh, man. I know Australia is ahead of the game when it comes to dismantling the country.
Yes.
So they're thinking of extending this, so you need written permission from a government official to leave within 5 miles out of your radius of your house. So if you want to come here and have a roast beef sandwich, that's out of the question.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how many people live in the state of Victoria? 5 million?
5.5 million.
Oh my God. Okay, so what happens when someone defaults on a property? The sheriff comes in, moves in on the property, the people's furniture goes outside, and they can't leave the state. And do they go to an encampment? Do they go to a stadium? What happens here?
No, they're on the streets, basically, but until they get fined and removed. So they basically go to jail for no reason.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to compute this little brain peanut of mine up here in my head. So I don't understand what's happening. Like, I understand what's happening, but it doesn't. I don't get it. Like, I get it.
It doesn't compute.
No, it's not computing.
It's
like
not sensible.
So
what we are going through.
So, Steve, be honest with me. Are you going to start seeing people like refugees escaping from the state? The problem is it's an island. Where's the place, the closest? Like, for example, I'll give you an example. I'm here in the city of Merritt. If I need to take off or lay low for a couple of weeks, I'd probably go to Seattle or Oregon if the border was open. Or if I have to stay in Canada, I'd probably go to like somewhere in the middle of BC, like on the border of Alberta, there, Banff, BC, and lay low for a couple of weeks till the heat dries out. Where do you guys go in the city of Melbourne if you need to lay low for a couple of weeks?
Well, you can't. That's great, baby. The sea.
Okay,
That's
what about
it.
people
There is nowhere to go.
What about people with boats? Could they leave port and go?
Well, they would have to do it very late at night and sneak around very quietly.
Wow, and this is a free country.
Well, you would think so, but unfortunately it isn't.
So if you're ported right now in Melbourne, you're ported, you got a yacht there, and you got to sneak around to get out of the country. Wow.
Yes, and that's it. Or even just to go fishing.
Okay,
you could have a fishing license too. That's the dumb thing.
Steve, are you seeing an increase of cameras being put up in your area? Are you noticing camera, like, construction or towers going up or anything?
Yes. Moreover, planes flying overhead and drones flying overhead.
Interesting. Planes and drones flying. And if no one could leave the state, who are on the planes?
Well, unmanned drones and police on planes.
Police on planes. Okay, unmanned drones. How is the public feeling about this? Are you noticing, like, are people scared or are people just going along like sheep?
No, actually, out my way in Melbourne, there was a 100-person plus protest yesterday that made the national news.
Huh. Okay. And okay. And so there is some sort of pockets of resistance.
Yes, it's already began.
Okay, can I ask, is the military is the police becoming more militarized there?
Yes.
Holy crap. So I guess they're like anti-aircraft machine guns when they walk around now. They don't have like a sidearm.
They have a sidearm, but the machine gunnery is in the drones.
Oh. I can't believe what I'm hearing here, Steve. I'm not understanding. Like, I get what you're telling me. I understand this. This looks like from a movie, like a bad nightmare.
Yes, that's right. Really, the next thing that's waiting to happen is when people who are in government authority start shooting us.
Wow.
It only takes one to get upset, and then that's it.
They start lining you guys up and shooting you, firing you guys down.
Yep.
Holy crap. And this has happened in Australia.
Yes.
Are you noticing encampments? People's like, are they rounding people up? Are you seeing? Oh, okay, you know how you know? You know how you know? It's when you stop seeing homeless people like disappearing. They start disappearing.
That homeless people are disappearing all the time from the point of view that they're put in hotels for quarantine.
Okay.
But they are our encampments, for want of a better expression.
So you describe this situation as an open air prison.
Yes, I do.
Oh wow. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know, like, police are becoming more militarized. You got planes flying over, drones flying over, making sure all the citizens are good. You can't go within 5 miles out of your property. You got to get permission from a government official, from another official, to let you leave your property within 5 miles. What do you do for food?
Well, fortunately, I live within 5 miles of a supermarket, so I'm okay. But when there's food shortages, I have to wait.
I don't know. Like, wow. I am.
To give you a guide, online purchases of a whole variety of products are 6 or 7 weeks turnaround as of now.
6 or 7 weeks?
Yep. Because they have no stock. Because the workforce is gone.
I don't know. I don't even know. Wow. Okay, well, you know what, Steve? If you can on Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon your time, come on Mike in the Night.
Sure.
Give us an update on what's happening. Maybe read a few headlines from there on what they're telling you, and the newspaper print is still being printed.
Yes.
And those headlines are not really meant to go outside of those areas. Right?
No,
Internet is very
right,
international.
Also, if you look on the Australian version of Facebook, there's a lot of feedback to show what a catastrophe is happening here in Melbourne already.
I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. Steve, keep us on the pulse. Let us know what's going on.
Sure.
Okay, I'll talk to you Sunday afternoon your time, okay?
No worries. All right.
God
Take
bless.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
So we're talking to Steve over the last couple of years, and he's an accountant and a financial advisor there in Melbourne, telling us that people can't afford houses, that people are taking on mortgages they can't afford. And it's been the same pony and dog show that we've been doing, over the years here. We're on episode, 200 and something of Trends in the Housing Market, and I've lost like 20 episodes, and they just racist episodes, so that's fine. But now it's gotten to a point now we're calling him and asking him, have they put you in a camp yet? Have they taken your phone away? So now if you want to go out and get food, you need, wow. Tom Joe says they're rolling it out everywhere. Okay, Scott is telling us something here in the comments, saying a luxury yacht just went from Melbourne to arrive on the Gold Coast. Owner did paperwork, but now authorities claim the stopped off in New South Wales, so they put him in a 14 days hotel quarantine at the owner's expense. Wow. 0% is saying they're going to do an inventory on every living soul and flossed upon them a diabolical contract. Blunt News, yeah, Blunt, this is for real. I've been getting a lot of emails from people from Melbourne, Australia, from the state of Victoria, and telling me about the police checkpoints, the drones. They can't go 5 miles out of their house. They're going to extend the lockdown for another 12 months. I think 7 people died there of COVID since January. This is very serious, right? So, oh, God. I'm just reading the comments here. Hollywood saying they already have an inventory of us. Yeah, they do, because it's like I'm saying, it's like for me, like I told you, the only way, like I'm at a point. I got my family. I'm enjoying my life. My business does well. I'm happy doing what I do. I sell toys and games, and I live such a blessed life. But I want you guys to know. I think you guys should know. And that's why we come here and talk. We've been talking about housing on the show every Wednesday night for what, 200 something episodes? Until I've been taken or deleted, I don't know, like 230 episodes. We're doing this. We're doing this because I have children, right? I have a lot of game. I have a lot in this game, right? I have a couple of dogs in this fight. Article scan, please. Trends in the housing market. How many episodes we got here? I don't know, man. Oh, okay, right here, 210 videos. Right here, 210 videos and trends in the housing market. And we just go on and on with this, and look at this. Just open my YouTube channel here to give you guys some. It's unionized workforce.
Yeah.
Well, they want to get rid of the union, right?
Yeah, and look at us, automation. How many jobs did we lose off these computers?
So this goes back, way back. So they have me in their stock system. They know who I am. They know Mike Martins. And you know what? I mean, 210 videos. So we're on episode 210 right now. Unfortunately, they took down like 30, 40 videos because they said they were racist. So, yeah. %, is saying it's time to demand access to our public courts. Cy Sharp says the PCR test is really a DNA fingerprint to your new ID. Mike Banks is saying the Euros will flee Canada and go back home, and that's what they tell me. A lot of Europeans have left Canada, like in huge numbers, and then COVID hit, and a lot of people were stuck in Canada that sold their homes in Canada for like $2 million, and they moved back to Greece and buy a house for $55,000 and with a villa and a beautiful backyard, and anyways. Yeah, Alan Holwick saying it's like the invasion of the body snatchers. So guys, please, if you're in the United States, let people, that watching this, let people know how bad it is in the Commonwealth. Oh, they got free healthcare there. No. This last caller just told us what free healthcare costs. And if you're just joining us, please scroll back to this last caller, Stephen Thomas, and he'll tell you a good eye opener. Anyways, guys, it's been over 2 hours. I'm gonna go put my kids to bed, and we'll talk soon, guys. I really appreciate you guys dropping in and being part of the show, and I'll see you guys for Mike in the Night. And remember, guys, if you take care, and if you can't take care, please stay safe.